quiz, simple interest. Link to the Nearpod is in the chat. Let's go ahead and get started. Jennifer, absolutely. You can ask me the question. Go ahead, drop the question in the private chat. Drop the question in the question and answer section, and I will respond back. Here is the first version of question 1. And it says, link to the Nearpod is in the chat, people. Click on the link and let's go ahead and get started. An account with an initial balance of $4,000 earns 6.5% interest for 5 years. What is the ending balance? Remember, star reference chart does provide you with a formula to calculate simple interest, and that is why I'm expecting you guys not to miss such questions. Let's go ahead, get started. Show me if you know how to solve this question. Let's see how many of us have joined Nearpod. I see Fatu, Amelia, and I see Ben, and I see Camden join Nearpod. Okay, I'm going to use this formula, interest equals principal times rate times time. And I will write out the information over here. Let's see. So in this question, the principal is, can someone help me with that? How much is the principal in this question? How much is the principal in this question? The amount and that they are going to save in the saving account to earn interest.
4,000.
Very good. It is 4,000. The rate is 6.5%, or as a decimal, how much?
0.65.
I don't fully agree. That means we want to try this one out over here. Let's grab a clean or clear the pages. Okay, let's try this one. So I want you to write down 6.5% as a decimal, and let's see how many of us know how to do that. Write down 6.5% as a decimal. Whiteboard is now open. Write down 6.5%, and I'm gonna check with a green check mark to let you know if you are correct. This one is heading in the right direction. This one, the green check mark shows yes, correct. Here, the decimal should be over here, the one at the top. This one is correct. This one is correct. This one is not correct. Please fix it. This one is correct. This one is correct. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Okay. And let's get back to the Nearpod. Here it is. And, or I can say it is 0.065. 0.065 is the rate. And time in years is 5 years. And I want to use the formula to calculate the interest, right? Interest, or the letter I, will equal P RT, or in other words, I can say principal times rate times time. And let's see how I can plug in some numbers. Principal is 4,000 times rate, that is 0.065, times 5 years, times 5. And when you will calculate, you will get the amount of interest. When I will solve this problem, very likely I will do this part first. I will do this part first, but you can do it in any order. Or in fact, I can also do this way. I can do 5,000 times 4,000 first. And I know that is 20,000, and I can just multiply it by the decimal. Any way you do, you will end up getting the correct answer. Whichever feels easy, go ahead, do that way. Multiply all these and tell me how much do you end up getting. If you need help multiplying these numbers, you can always inform me and I can help you multiply also. Multiply 4,000 times 0.65 times 5. Let me know if you need help with that. Ben, I agree to you. That's what I got. Go ahead, people, multiply. And on your slides, let me see if you are showing me work for 2. Very good. Amy, very good. Ben, excellent. I agree to the final answer also. Brianna, very good. Leah, very good. Camden, get started. Nope, that is the correct answer. Some of us will also, log in and open up the quiz and answer as we are answering questions. And in this way, they get their homework assignment done during math building blocks. This is another good idea. So when you multiply these, you should end up getting 1,300. Is this your final answer? We will reread the question and ask ourselves, should this be the final answer? Amy says no. Why, Amy? Why do you think this should not be the final answer? You guys can hop on the mic. It is a small class size today for some reason. Maybe people are still on their way joining. What do I do next? I am waiting. I should divide. Amy, I did 4,000 times 0.065 times 5 and it gave me interest. If I'm going to deposit $4,000 for 5 years, the bank will give me $1,300 as interest. That means at the end of 5 years, I will have my original $4,000. I will have my original $4,000 and I will also have the interest that I earned from the bank for saving this amount of money. And the question is asking me, what is my ending balance? The ending balance includes the 4,000 initially we deposited and the 1,300 the bank gave me for saving money. And in this way, I will be able to figure out my final answer. So the final answer for this problem should be 5,300. If you save money, you earn interest. And that increases the amount of money that you have saved with the bank. 5,300 should have been the final answer. Are there any questions? That makes sense? Okay, perfect. Let's try one more. So the entire quiz will have very similar questions. Let's see. If you guys understand it, go ahead, show me your understanding on this problem. This is the next version of question 1. And let's read. An account with an initial balance of $5,000 earned 5% interest for 3.5 years. What is the ending balance? They're not asking me interest, they're asking me for the ending balance. Remember, you do have your resource here. That means you have your formula. You will always be given this formula on an assessment. This is how you calculate the simple interest. Go ahead, get started, show me you know how to solve it. Let me check your answer, Ben. In this problem, I will start setting the problem up so that if someone is stuck and they can get some guidance. I will use this formula that is given to me for simple interest. I want the principal, that is the initial amount, in this case $5,000 is the principal. I want my rate. In this question, the rate is 5%, or I can say it is 0.05. Time in this question is 3.5 years. To calculate interest, or as per the formula, I will multiply the 3. I will multiply my 5,000 times 0.05 times 3.5, and that will give me the answer in dollars for the amount of interest. Very good, Amy. Exactly, that is how you will set it up. If anybody here has any issues multiplying decimals, please let me know. I will teach you how to multiply decimals right now. This is another skill that is important so that you're successful in this topic, multiplying decimals, because there's a lot of decimals going on. How much did you guys get? Let me see. Ben, I agree to your amount of interest. Okay, then let's reconsider the decimals. I will go ahead and multiply a little so that we can look at the decimals. And okay. So I have 5,000 times 0.05 over here. This is 5,000 times 0.05. I will multiply by 5. So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times another 0 is 0. 5 times the third 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. And where will the decimal go? 2 places. Let's see. The decimal is 1, 2 places, right, in the question. So exactly in the solution, 2 places. And I get 250. I multiplied these two and I got 250. I will multiply 250 by 3.5. I still have to multiply by 3.5. Let me see how you guys are doing. And it seems like you guys are still solving and working it out. Same, I will continue to solve and multiply by 3.5. And if you don't have enough room, you absolutely can do it on a piece of paper also. So let's multiply 250 by 3.5. So let's see. 5 times 0 is a 0. 5 times 5, 25. And 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2, 12. Then I will start with a 0. I will use a different color. Then I will start with a 0 when I'm multiplying by 3. Okay. 3 times 0 is another 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And when I add them, I get 0, 5, 7, and 8. And I have to decide on the decimal. Where will my decimal go? Let's see. here I have just one decimal, right? 3.5. I have one decimal. So the decimal will go right here, one place. That means the interest in this question is 875. The interest in this question is 875. Is that what you guys also got? You need to really multiply carefully, otherwise we might end up getting some errors. 6.15. Let me see if anybody got anything different than what I got. Ben, I agree to you. And Amy's slide, I don't see. For those who are solving, do you agree to me so far? I lost you. Took you 3 tries, Ben? Liloni, I lost you. I was just multiplying. Well, in the first place, I multiplied 5,000 by 0.05. Then that answer I multiplied by 3.5. If you need help multiplying decimals, you can always tell me and I can help you out. 875, Liloni? Is this my final answer, 875? Is this my final answer, 875? Brizzy says yes, Breezy. Let's refer to the question, dear. The question says, what is the ending balance? If in the saving account, this person has $5,000. In the saving account, this person has $5,000. They keep it in the saving account for 3.5 years. For 3.5 years. They earn interest of 875 because they have kept the money with the bank for 3.5 years. Now the final balance in the bank account is the 5,000 that they had, plus the amount of interest that they earned, and that will be 0 plus 5. I'm just going to write down the answer here, 5. 0 plus 7 is a 7. 0 plus 8 is 8. And then we also have a 5. So the total amount in the bank will be $5,875. Any questions before we move on? Let me know.
Why would you add the 5,000 to the 850?
875. Who can answer Fatu's question? Why do we add them? Ben, go ahead.
Because it's asking the ending balance, and the 875 is the interest. Plus, and then you add it with the initial balance.
Fatu, that makes sense? Yeah, because
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because this person already had 5,000. When you keep money in the bank account, the saving account, you earn interest. Why is that so, Ben? That is a good idea. I am studying finance and I am a finance person. So banks are trying to earn interest. The goal is for the financial advisors to earn money from customers' money. So for example, Fatu will keep $5,000 in my bank, right? And Fatu will earn 5% interest, right? Then Ben wants $5,000 because he wants to buy a car. Ben will come to me and borrow $5,000, but I will give Ben the loan at a higher interest rate and I will charge him 6.5%. So in this way, I'm using Fatu's money to earn interest. Does that make sense? And why do I want to pay Fatu? I want to pay Fatu so I can encourage you to deposit money with me. I want to encourage you. So people bring in money so that we can lend it out for a higher interest rate to somebody else. In this way, banks are making a lot of money. That makes sense? Yep, that is how it works. We will not look at version 3 of question 1 so that we can look at question 2. This is question 2, the first version of question 2. Let's see. In this problem, we have Lee. Lee deposited $17,500 into a bank account that earned simple interest each year. After 2 years, he had earned $2,975 in interest. No money was deposited into or withdrawn from the account. What was the annual interest rate? Can someone tell me what is missing in this question? Can someone tell me what is the missing information in this question? The rate is missing. Very good. That means we want to work backwards so we can calculate the rate. And let's see how I can do this. Let me see what I already know and what is missing. And let's see. We want to list out the information that we have. So I know that in this question, the interest is given to me. And how much is the interest that is given to me? How much is the interest? Read the question and tell me how much is the interest.
The interest is 2,975.
Yes, the interest is 2,975. Then the time is given to me, that is 2 years. Then is principal given to me? Is principal given to me?
Yes, it's 7,000. It's 17,500.
17,500 is the principal. All this is given, but rate is missing. Can we write an equation and we can just put in R for rate? Like for example, the equation like given to you at the very top here. You see this equation? I'm going to rewrite this equation and see what I can do about it. And here we are. I'm going to rewrite it. And this equation says that I equals P times R times T, right? And I know that I interest is 2,975, right? The principal 17,500. I don't know my rate, but I know the time is 2. Do you guys know how to solve an equation that looks like this? Amy, look at my equation. See if that makes sense. I just followed the equation. Check this one out. See, interest is given, that is 2,975. Principal 17,500. Rate missing times 2. Any questions? I'm going to pause here. Any questions? No questions? That makes sense so far?
So
Yes.
basically,
Yeah.
you would do what Amy said to do, right?
Amy's equation looks different. I have an equal sign and Amy has a multiplication sign there. And Amy is missing a variable. R is missing, so I need to have the R somewhere so I can calculate it, right? I need to have something missing. That is what I will have to calculate it. On my right side, if you notice, I can simplify this equation. Can someone help me simplify this part? Simplify means multiply it and tell me how much do I end up getting if I simplify this section, this part? I will wait. I know these are some new concepts and it will take some time. How will I simplify this? I will just do 17,500 times R times 2. I know I can multiply the two numbers and I should end up getting How much? I should end up getting 35,000. 2 times 17,500 is 35,000 times R. So I can say 35,000 R or 35,000 X, whatever that is. I can just say 35,000 R. Do you guys agree to this step so far? Everybody understands? And I can also bring down 2,975, or I can just write that on the other side. It is just the same thing. I can write it on any side I want. I just flip the side so that I have 2,975 on this side. Do you guys know how I can get the R by itself? It is like one-step equation. Do you guys know how to get R by itself? Right now, the operation between 35,000 and R is a multiplication operation, right? It's a multiplication operation. The inverse of multiplying is?
We're going to divide.
Yes. And because I want to get rid of 35,000, I want R by itself. And I want to get rid of 35,000, I'm dividing both sides by 35,000. I'm going to divide both sides by 35,000 because I want R by itself, and this will tell me the answer. Well, what happens? 35,000 divided by 35,000 on the left side is a 1. Or I can say 1R. Or I can just say R. Now on this side, I have to divide by 35,000 too, right? And that will give me the answer. And that will give me the answer when I will divide this side by 35,000. Do you guys know how to divide these numbers? Yes, no, or is this a little bit hard? It is a little hard for you?
You would divide the denominator by the numerator.
Yeah? They are a little hard? Let's see. We can do it together and see what do we end up getting. Ben, it is okay. We will practice multiple problems that look like this. I think all the remaining problems for this quiz are like finding the missing number in a similar way. Breezy, no problem. Stay with us and we will... Okay, wait. This whiteboard is for me. We are trying to divide. I want to divide... What was the number? I was dividing... Okay, let me write it here. I was dividing my 2,975 by 35,000. This is what I was trying to divide, right? Go ahead. You can also divide on your sheet of paper. And before I divide, I will need multiples. I will need multiples of 35,000. And this is how we can set it up. 2,975 divided by 35,000. And I will just say 35K because there isn't enough room for me to put in the zeros. Okay, let's write down multiples of 35,000. No problem, Amy. We will look at multiple questions like these ones. On my exam or on the STAR test, I'm not going to test you over questions like these. I will not. Ben, does that make sense? I will only ask you how to calculate interest or final balance. You will not see I will ask you these questions, but I'm just teaching you because you have to do the quiz. And then the next, I'm writing down multiples. People, you guys can help me with the multiples so we can divide the two numbers. And then it will be 105. Yep. I will just say K. And then 140. Absolutely. Ben, that is fast. What about others? At least first 8 multiples I will need. Then 175. Okay, that is not right. 175. 210, 245, 280. How many are these? Are these 8 already? 280? Is that 10? Oh, is that 8 multiples already?
Yes,
Let's
it's already
see.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We'll just pause here till 8 and let's see if we will need more. Okay. So I know that 35,000 is big and not even a single 35,000 can go here, right? It is too big. I know none of them go here. This is a small number, right? It will be a 0, right? Then I can add a decimal. This decimal allows me to add a 0 here. Now this number is 29,750. How many 35s go into 29,000? None.
0.
0. I will say 0. Then I will add one more 0. Okay. Then I will add one more 0. Now I have, let me use eraser. Now I have 297,500, right? Now this number is 290. Okay, let me clean this fully and then get to the pen. Over here. Now it looks like this, 297,000. So how many of these can go, how many 35,000s go into it? Can I say 8 times over here? Yes, 8. So we will do it 8 times. And we will subtract 280,000. Sometimes subtraction can look very weird. The division can look very weird, but probably it might not be when we really divide. And we will just stop at 1 to 2 decimals only. And here let's subtract. We have a 0, 0, we have 5. 7 minus 0 is a 7. And we have a 1. And I will bring down another 0, right? I have 175,000. And how many 35s? I will use this one, right? And this is 5 times, and it could divide evenly. And I will pause here. 175,000, no remainder. It was not a bad division. It was not so messy. Very good. And I end up getting a number that is 0.085. This is decimal, right? Do you guys know how to write this as a percent? I will go ahead, write this down, 0.0885. Tell me how much is this as a percent? Whiteboard is now open for you. Write on my whiteboard and tell me how much percent is 0.085. Okay, I will only mark green for the correct ones. If I don't see correct ones, then that will be a little problem. That makes sense? 8.5%. 8.5 because we moved 2 decimal places for percent. Perfect, perfect. And let's move on to the quiz. So in this one, when you solve the entire thing, we ended up getting 8.5%. We will look at some more questions for this one. And people, let me inform you ahead of time. Whenever the rate is missing, the question will be a little messy like this one. Whenever time or principal is missing, I am hoping the question will look much neater than this one. The rate is because we have to change decimal to percent and this and that. Little bit more messier than others. But I'm very hopeful when it is missing time or missing principal, it will look less messier. Let's look at the next one and see what they want from us. And remember, I repeat myself, question 2 type of questions you will not see on my assessments. They are just for practice and just higher order practice. Tammy deposited $520 into a bank account that earned simple interest each year. So what is 520? What is 520? Is it simple interest? Is it principal? It is rate or time?
Interest.
It is interest. Dan says it is principal. If you deposit some money, this is principal. Interest is what we are about to earn. Let's see what the question tells us if we are going to earn. After 5 years, she had earned, this is interest, $156 in interest. No money was deposited into or withdrawn from the account. What was the annual interest rate? Again, we are finding the interest rate. And let's see what information is provided to us and how much we can set up. Okay, I know the principal. In this question, the principal is $520. Then I know my time is 5 years. I also know the amount of interest, or in the equation I, that is $156. I don't know rates, and that is missing, or I can say R is missing. Can you guys see if you can set it up as an equation that is given to you? Just plug in numbers. So I equals P times R times T. Can you set this equation up? Just plug in numbers where they go. Can you set up an equation? Amy, I don't agree to you. After the interest, that is 156, there's an equal sign. If you'll follow exactly, Amy, you will get the equation. My rate is missing. There needs to be a letter R in it. See if you guys can set it up, and you can share in the chat or on your slides. Set up an equation and show me if you can. Let me see. Okay, Brianna. Brianna, try to write with a darker color. This is so light for me. I am still waiting. So far, I am still waiting for the equation part from you guys because I don't see equation. Madison, I still don't agree. Reconsider. Amy, reconsider. Okay, people, let's see. We will write it together and you guys can guide me. Okay, the very first thing here says I. I is interest. How much is the interest? How much is I? Interest. 156. I should start with 156. 156. Then there's equal sign. I will put equal sign. Then it says P, principal. How much is principal? 5. Very good. Very good. I now agree to your equations. That makes sense. 520 is principal. Rate is not given. R, time is given. 5. Does the equation make sense to you? Let me know. Does the equation make sense to you? I just put in numbers where they should go. And this equation, people, is always going to be given to you on the STAR test. It is in the reference material in case you forget. Now, I will see how much I can solve. Can you guys simplify this part of the equation? Can you guys simplify this part of the equation like I just did? Go ahead, show me. 520 times R times 5 is how much? 2,600. Everybody agrees to Liloni? Liloni says if I multiply 520 times 5, you get 2,600. And then times R is 2,600 R. And all this should equal to 156. Right? I want to calculate R, that is my missing value. So to get R by itself, I will divide both sides by, I want to get rid of 2,600, right? So I should divide both the sides by 2,600 because I want the R by itself. I will divide both the sides by 2,600. It is important to note what you do to one side, you also have to do to the other, so that this is the equation, the equal sign can stay balanced. So we can do 2,600. Now what happens when I do that? 2,600 divided by 2,600 is 1. And then 1 times R is 1R. Or I just call it R equals. Then I have to do some math. I have to do 156 divided by. Yes, exactly, Ben. Ben, is it making more sense? Because I know previously you needed some more assistance. I know. So this is algebra. We are moving into algebra. In 6th grade, you did some less algebra. As we are moving to 7th grade, after 1 week, we will be fully focusing on algebra. That will be the focus for the rest of the semester after a week. So we will get better at it. So let's go ahead and divide. 156 divided by 2,600. We will do it on a whiteboard. So the numbers were, and we need to clean the whiteboard. Yes, Ben, that is true. And this is a skill we all need to know. We are not allowed calculators in 7th grade. Good news, you are allowed calculators in 8th grade. 156 divided by 2,600. Let me know if the numbers are correct. Yes, they are. 156 divided by 2,600. And how do I set it up? And in the division thing, it will look like this. 2,600 goes on the outside because you want to divide it by 2,600. 156 goes here. We will write down some multiples of 2,600. And let's go ahead, get started. You guys will help me. Otherwise, if I'm doing on my own, definitely it will be so much longer. 5,200. Thank you for 2. More multiples we will need. I know this will be 7,800. More multiples we will need. 10,400. Yeah. I go for 10,400 people. Guide me. Yeah, for 2 says yes. Thank you. Then what about after 10,400? Then should be 11, 13,000. 13,000. And go ahead, tell me a few more. Let's see how many will I need. These are at least one more. Okay, then I have 15,600. Yeah, this should be easy. I don't know why I didn't write it down. I was just trying to see how many we will need. Okay, we will pause here. Okay, we will pause here. We won't need more, hopefully. How many 2,000s can go into 156? None, right? 0. Then I will add a decimal. This will allow me to add a 0. How many 2,000s can go into 1,500? Still none. A 0. Then I will add one more 0. Now this becomes 15,600. How many 2,600s can go into it? Right here, right? 6 times.
6.
And this was actually a little easier division, right, Ben? Than what we all were anticipating to be. Yes. Now, again, there's a little issue with the answer, remember? The answer says the answer is 0.06 as a decimal. Very good. We want it as a percent. People, now this is your board. You will tell me 0.06. Yep, as a percent. Let's see. Please put the percent sign also so that we know this is a percent. And I will check with a green pen. Some of you are so precise, you create a text box and then you want to type it out. Although this is a little harder on this Neuro thing, it's not as comfortable as this Nearpod. Very good, very good. Everybody in the class knows 0.06 is 6%. Very good, excellent, excellent. So in this case, the final answer to this question will be 6%. Okay. And now we can see more. It's a more bigger view of it. So I can say 6% should have been the answer. And you guys know the math behind it because we used a whiteboard, not on this slide, but we had it on the whiteboard. Here is the Nearpod link. Okay, we want to look at question 3. We want to look at question 3 and see what kind of a thing that is. Friday, tomorrow, I will go over any questions that you have, whether that is quiz 3.10, 12, or 14. So all 3 quizzes for this week, we are open to ask questions, okay? I'm going to see if I can create one Nearpod with questions for all 3 quizzes, so that if you have questions over, Miss say, go to quiz 310, we can easily move through the slides of the same Nearpod. So just remember, tomorrow we are open. We can ask questions from any of the 3 quizzes that were due this week. Let's see this. This is probably question 3. Deshawn deposited $6,500 into a bank account that earned 11.5% simple interest each year. He earned $4,485 in interest. Before closing the account, no money was deposited into or withdrawn from the account. How many years was the money in the account? What is missing in this question? Reread it to yourself. Ask yourself. Let me know, what do you think is missing? Ben thinks rate is missing. Let's see. Layla, you agree to Ben?
I think it's time.
Emiliano thinks time. Leloni thinks time. Fatu thinks time. Yeah. Yeah, Ben, time. There you go. Everybody thinks time. Now, go ahead. If you follow the way I am trying to do, like I write down the information for myself rather than just do some bunch of calculations, your brain is kind of learning a skill, like it is understanding better. If you write the information out, like use the text box, it won't take long, but you are kind of getting a better understanding of where the numbers are coming from and where they are going. Let's go ahead and see. Do I know the principal? How much is the principal? Like the amount that is deposited into the bank account.
6,500.
1,500.
The principal is excellent. 6,500 is the principal. Let's see what else. Do I know the interest? The amount of interest, I.
11.5.
That is rate.
It's going to be 4,485.
Yes, it will be 4,040. And then rate, 11.5%. Or how much as a decimal is that? 11.5 as a decimal? 11.5% as a decimal? Okay, very good. It will be 0.115. Remember to move 2 decimal places to the left And we also know that time is the missing information. And let's see if you can come up with the equation I equals P times rate times time. See if you can come up with the equation. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. We just practiced the equation part now, right? See if you can come up with the equation for this. When I say come up with the equation, I don't want you to solve. I just want you to put in the numbers in the correct places. That's all. Just see if you know how to place the numbers in the correct places. It is an important skill. My mathematicians here, multiplying and dividing, I know I try to focus a lot in my class, but trust me, you do not need to know multiplying, dividing after 7th grade because the calculator will do it for you. My main goal here is to teach you this algebra thinking part. Do you know how to place the numbers in the correct place? Do you know how to figure out the missing variable? Once you put the numbers in place, now you know this t is missing. How do I figure out the t? If you know this, you are successful lifelong, not just this grade. So my focus more than anything should be to teach you this algebra part. For multiplying, dividing, decimals, adding, subtracting decimals, you will have a calculator next year. So I am not much concerned that you will lag behind because of calculations. You will have one. Liloni says, I will just multiply these two. That is R. That's Liloni's equation. Other equations I am still waiting for to see. Because if I see you guys put it in equation, that will make me feel, okay, this session was successful. So I'm going to wait. I want to see if you know how to. Where's Madison? Madison. Come on, people. Type in the chat and let me know. I see Liloni. I see Fatu. Fatu, equation means equal sign. If your expression doesn't have equal sign, I'm going to call it expression. As long as no equal sign, no equation. This is the difference between equation and expression. Layla, what are you doing? Show me your work here in the chat, Layla. Manuel, Emiliano, JJ. I am waiting. People put some equations in the chat so that will guide our classmates. I know you guys can do it. That is Layla's equation.
The symbol I use is what I was told to start using in 6th grade. Because apparently that's what we're meant to use. So
that is allowed. Okay, let's work it out together and see if we can figure it out. How much is I, interest? Do we know how much is I, interest?
4,485.
485.
Yes. Yep, that's what I'm going to start with, 4485. Then I see a equal sign. I will put equal sign. How much is P, principal?
6,500.
There you go. I would put 6,500. Then I have a time symbol. Then I will do times. Rate is given to me. Yes, this time. Rate is given to me. Time is missing. Put a T. There you go. This is what I was looking forward to see from you guys. Was that hard? Good. Very good, JJ. This is the only thing I was looking forward to see from you guys. Let's see if I can condense. This side, my right side. And here is this right side. Can I condense it? Like, can I simplify it? I can, because I will multiply 6,500 times 0.115. And I will be able to condense, right? Can someone multiply these two and tell me how much they got? Multiply these two numbers and tell me how much you got.
$747.5.
Yes, 700. Okay, that will be 747.5, and there's also a T, so I will put 747.5 T. And all of this should equal to 4,485. This time I want to find t, right? Okay, let's make it better. 4,485. We want to find t. Can someone guide me? What will I do next so that I can find t? Can someone guide me?
We can divide them both by 747.5.
Excellent. Because you want t by itself, you will divide both sides by 747.5. As a result, your left side will only be left with a t, right? As a result, this left side, because these become a 1, so left side will only be left with a t. That will equal the answer to this problem, right? And let's see how we can resolve this long division. And Ben, again, yes, there is some amount of work. And we'll clean the board. Let's write the question. You guys compute your multiplication facts and guide me, please. Let's set it up. It is 4,485 divided by 747.5. So you have to tell me multiplication. Okay, people, wait. There's one little thing I do. You remember we want to take away the decimals. So if I'm going to write down 4485, so I don't have to worry about the decimals. Okay, whiteboard. 4485 divided by 747.5. I'm going to get rid of the 0.5 decimal. And here, it is a 0.0, right? We all know it means 0.0. There's no decimal, means there's a 0.0. Yeah? I will move one decimal place to the right. This number becomes 7475, right? And this first number, I will also move one decimal to the right. Will become 44,850. Will become 44,850. So now I'm not going to worry about my decimals. That will make it easier. The digits kind of look a lot messy, but let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful that things will not end up being so messy. So here I will add a 0, and the divisor I will write down without a decimal point. I will clean up my slides, and that gives you some amount of time to tell me multiples of this really long number. Tell me multiples of 7,475. Go ahead, people. Tell me the multiples. In the meanwhile, I clean my slide. You are on task telling me some multiples. And I got the slide clean. Wow, you're going to tell me easy one, Emiliano, just times 10? Wait, Fatu told me the next one. So let's see, where is the pen? Right here. So 7,000, and this one, then the next one is 14,950. Keep telling me, people, multiples. The third one. Keep telling me multiples. When you will keep telling me, I know because I have the answer key. I'm going to do a little cheat here. The answer will be 6. I know 6 times it will go into. You guys can keep calculating when you do the actual quiz. Keeping in view the amount of time we have, I'll use my cheat sheet. My cheat sheet says when I do 7,475 times 6, I end up getting 44,850. Yes, with no remainder. It shouldn't have been so messy. It didn't even have any decimals or so. Okay, so this is how it should have worked out if we will do our multiplications. And let's look at this one. With no decimals, no nothing, time ended up being 6. Keeping in with the amount of time, I just had to fast forward some calculation part. It should give you some amount that is 6. In fact, 6 years. There you go. I know we were not able to solve all questions. That is fine. Remember, tomorrow is more of an open session, but you have a good concept, right? If next time, if interest is missing, you can calculate that. If time is missing, you can use this formula. If rate is missing, you can do something similar. But still, if there are more questions, we will look at those tomorrow. Tomorrow, building blocks at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. There's no other time I could have fit building blocks. And morning time is always a good time to get done with the studying part. And then the rest of the time, play. Thank you so much for attending. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will post the recordings of this session in case somebody wants to go over it.
Bye.
Bye.